My name is Obafemi Lawal. I teach government, civic education, and social studies. I also partially teach economics, mathematics, and English language. I spend most of my days in the classroom teaching and the remaining one doing community service, community teaching. I engage myself teaching remotely with radio transmitter in communities. During the COVID-19 school shutdown, which was very rewarding, impactful, and exciting. I am a passionate 21st century teacher that inspires and creates connection between the town and the gown. Because I believe that for us to nurture a functional, useful and successful student, we need to create a link between the school and the society. We need to make the school as we want a cosmopolitan society where problems are solved and not created. To this end, I engage my students in group projects, which makes them to brainstorm, which makes them to be creative in finding solutions to contemporary problems in our society. I also engage my students in competition that challenge them, that challenge their creativity and ingenuity, that makes them a problem solver. I also engage my students in collaboration, in collaborative tasks that makes them to think, to reason outside the box and bring out new ideas or new ways of doing things. I also engage my students in presentation, debate, quiz evaluation to build their communication skills and human relationship skills and confidence, as well as civil competence in them. I also involve my students in educational field trip, to exposing them to institutions, to organizations, to firms, to power starters that they will find themselves sooner or later working there. So this is a way of creating a relationship, connecting the town and the gowns together, of building confidence in the student. I also engage my students in leadership endeavors through symposium, through conference, through seminars, through outing. I involve my students in the building leadership skills. I also nurture entrepreneurial spirit in my students through trade fair, through business development programs. I nurture the entrepreneurial spirit of my students in order to make them employers of labor and not job seekers. Although I am social science and humanities teacher, but I develop interest in science and technology. So I was teaching a topic in social studies, science and technology topic, and as a form of introduction, I say science is everywhere. But my students were surprised, and I repeated again, science is everywhere, even in their teaching. And they asked, they said yes. And I said, apart from the component, or apart from the device that they use in the house that is product of technology, that even the ingredients that they use for making food is also science. Then I asked them to bring baking soda and vinegar and other ingredients. So I used to perform acid and base experiments which produce reaction that produce oxygen that pump the balloon that we put in the flask. So the students were surprised as if I performed a magic, and I taught them about science. And I let them to know the science is simple and interesting, appealing, and invigorating. So this is my way of initiating the students to love science and technology. So at my back is the smart board. I make use of the smart board and the whiteboard in teaching my students, because the smart board could be used for audio visual. So I play video, integrate video to my teaching, images to my teaching, colors, and make it more attractive, more appealing, more exciting, more interesting. So, and my students, they like it. And I also make use of other technology in teaching and to facilitate teaching and learning. So these are my students. I call them my children, and they were very excited, and I was also very happy. So holding the experiment that we performed, I also taught them how to make a moving vehicle that will be using remote and control, and I also taught them art and craft, because I'm also interested in art and craft. So I taught them how to make artificial flower and macrame for decoration, among other art and crafts that I taught them. On the issue of my radio transmitting device, I was inspired when there was a trending post, especially in concerned parents and teacher and educator, where someone posted that during this COVID-19 we have been engaging our students in online teaching, but it is not all the students that got engaged in the online teaching, because very few were able to afford internet, or some didn't even have smartphones to connect on the online teaching. That what is the way forward? Then this posed a challenge to me, that how could we make teaching and learning less expensive and more engaging and more involving of those who are left behind in this online teaching. So I started brainstorming, and I was inspired to develop this radio transmitting device, which enable my students to stay connected within the range of 2 kilometers. And once I start teaching, then they can tune on to their radio and start listening to my teaching. So the beauty of it is that even without online television that makes use of electricity, that once there is no light you cannot stay connected, but radio, being MP3, being normal radio, you can make use of the battery. So I started building the radio transmitter. I went to Oshodi to buy some of the electrical components, and I started fixing everything together to produce the radio transmitter. So this is a radio transmitter, and it could walk between the range of 2 kilometers. So I can just move to a community where I have most of my students there. Then once I start teaching, they stay connected, they tune on to their radio or their MP3 or their FM or their touchlight phone, and they start listening to my teaching. And the antenna is very important because it makes the signals to be stronger or powerful, otherwise the signal will break. So this is the radio transmitting device that I use for teaching my students. So this is me teaching my students government, being my subject military rule in Nigeria. And this is my students listening to the teaching. So the beauty of this is that I don't need to bring my students together in a classroom to teach them, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic. So they can be in their home, and I can be somewhere in a corner in a community and started teaching. Then they tune onto their radio and they listen to my teaching, and it is less expensive and very effective in teaching. So now I hope that this device could be made commercial and given especially to rural teachers, that they can use it to teach, especially during this COVID-19 and even beyond. One thing I believe in life is that we need to keep on learning so that we will not keep on dying. My mission in life is to make the offspring more successful than the bearers. I am a passionate 21st century teacher that connects the town and the gown, that create a link between the society and the school, because this is the best way that we could make education for sustainable development, that we could create civil competence in our students, that we can prepare them for the future ahead, and the best way that we can build nation. So my name is Lawal Obafemi Peter. Thank you.